Now, we're also watching the European Court of Justice this Thursday, which is looking at a key test case for so-called benefit tourism. In other words, whether a country in the EU can deny benefits to workers from another EU country if they lose their job. Well, the case concerns a Swedish mother who was living and working in Germany, but when she stopped working, the job centre refused her benefits. Well, joining me here in the studio is Kevin Poulter, legal director at the law firm Bertram, Dyson Bell. Many thanks for joining me here. So just talk me through the significance of this case.
Well, last year we had a case about Mrs Dano. Now, she moved to Germany, but without work and with no intention, it seems, of trying to find work. The difference here is that Mrs Alamanovic went over with her 3 daughters to Germany from Sweden and had a job. She was in temporary employment, as was her eldest daughter. That job lasted for, unfortunately, just under a year, and her benefits continued for, again, just under a year. And then all of a sudden it stopped. Now, this is to do with subsistence benefits, so it's basic living. And the courts and the treaty at least says that for the moment, we'll wait to see what happens, but for the moment, they are not entitled, migrants to other EU countries are not entitled to basic subsistence necessarily, certainly for the first 3 months, but then after that, for a period of 3 months up to 5 years, whilst they are trying to find their permanent residency there. So
is the suggestion here that she did not move to Germany purely for the purpose of reaping benefits? She was there as a working, tax-paying resident. So what are the wider implications of this case then? Well,
it sets the question, well, what happens for people who are in work, who for whatever reason lose their jobs? They may have moved, they moved with their families as well, as is the case here. But what happens? Is there any entitlement, A, to residency, and B, to that basic provision, that basic living? And it splits into 2 parts. There's the general provision for such as housing benefit. These are contributory benefits. But there's also what we call special non-contributory cash benefits. And these are the things such as our job seekers allowance in the UK. And it's something which allows people to continue living without making that contribution either into a fund or into the working society either. So that's what the question the court's got to answer. It's got to balance this alongside the free movement question. And how much control do each individual state have over making those provisions?
OK, Kevin, we're going to have to leave it there. Fascinating. Of course, there's something Angela Merkel's been talking a huge amount about. Kevin Poulter there.
As well. Yeah, thank you.
Of course, legal director at Bertram, Dyson Bell. Many thanks for talking us through the implications of that particular case. That is the business for this hour. Thanks for joining. Stay with us.